Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain For You. As you can see, snow is still on the ground. Ever since that snow a few days ago, it's been cold. It was 12 degrees this morning when I woke up. So, today's topic is going to be how you are feeling right now, ... And I'll get to that in a minute. So, I think I forgot to breathe the other day. Obviously, I remembered to breathe because I'm still here. I didn't die. But I don't know if I did the relaxing breath. Anyway, let's take a couple of nice deep breaths. Here's some crows off in the distance. Breathe in the nature. Exhale the indoor living, which is what I've been doing since it's so cold. Breathe in the peace. Exhale the stress. Breathe in the bravery. Exhale the fear. So, how you are feeling right now, ... is a factor of how you see yourself in the future. So, if you see yourself in the future as continuing to have your chronic pain or other chronic illness, probably not going to feel too good right now, both physically and emotionally, mostly emotionally, right? Because if we believe that we can't get better, it's going to be really tough to kind of get present and notice the joy, connect with others, right? So how you're feeling right now is a factor of how you see yourself in the future. So, here's a gut check for you. How do you feel right now? And how do you see yourself in the future? Do you see yourself as still, for the rest of your life, being a highly anxious person who's always walking on eggshells around other people, trying to people please, do good, be perfect so that other people love us? Do you see yourself in chronic pain for the rest of your life? Do you see yourself in a wheelchair moving forward? Do you see yourself with all sorts of gastrointestinal problems? Do you see yourself getting even something more life-threatening and dying an early death? If these are the visualizations that kind of come up for you, I will say, you're probably feeling pretty crappy right now about yourself and your life and what awaits for you. So, if how you feel right now is a factor of how you see yourself in the future, guess what? We can choose our future. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is, all of these negative images about you still being sick, about being anxious, fearful, not loved, everything else, they're not really happening right now. In other words, that may be your present life. I'm not debating that. So maybe some of these experiences are currently present. But the imaginary ones of yourself in 2, 5, 10, 20 years, and all of the negative stuff I just walked through a minute ago, it's not actually happening in the present moment. And so it's completely imagined. And anxiety is basically being fearful of things that aren't even happening in the moment. They're imaginary future events. So if we've got this wonderful thing called the imagination, why the heck not make yourself feel better by imagining a positive outcome? Imagine yourself kind of getting some of these core concepts down. Breathing in the confidence and knowing, yeah, I'm going through the fire right now, but I know I'm on the right track and I know I can get well. This doesn't just mean with our chronic pain or symptoms. It also means with our emotional struggles. There's people talking about how they're holding on to resentment from things that happened 2 years ago, and they're saying, I can't let that go. I just can't get past the resentment. Right? I will say in that regard, I was going to do a separate video about resentment and holding on to grudges. Saw a good quote today that said basically, Holding on to resentment is kind of like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die, right? Because resentment just keeps you stuck in the anger and the, that sick feeling in your stomach that I can't believe this person did something that awful to me. And holding on to the resentment in the hope that that person may change and come apologize in the future or make it right in the future, it's not doing you any good in the present, right? You're suffering each and every day. You're literally taking that poison every single day. And that person may not even know that you're still mad at them. Or maybe they do and they don't care. My encouragement for anybody holding on to long-term resentment, let it go, right? Because it's not keeping you safe now. All it is doing is recreating these negative, horrible, angry, rageful emotions every single day. And you're completely missing the opportunity to smile today. Give yourself the gift of letting go of the past resentment, right? Because it's not keeping you safe. So back to the original topic, how you feel today is a factor of how you see yourself in the future. So if you are thinking today, I can't let go of this resentment, I guess back to that one, because I never see that person making things right and apologizing, all right? And you're experiencing that anger based on a future expectation, you're going to feel like crap today, emotionally. And some of these things manifest themselves into physical pains. And so, use your wonderful imagination to imagine the future you want, right? And some people love him, some people don't. But Dr. Joe Dispenza, he gets a little bit deep, and I don't dive deep into it. But the one thing he has said, which I love, is to create a vision of the future which you can fall in love with. Because for those of us that are feeling crappy right now because we've got this horrible vision of the future, you've created a vision of the future that creates despair, desperation, and depression. And I will say, I know this is familiar. It is habitual. It is based on looking in the rearview mirror and saying, man, life's been tough up until now. And so I just have to assume it's going to be tough moving forward. And because I don't want to think too optimistically, because then I might be disappointed. I can guarantee you, if you think the negative stuff, you'll probably see more of the negative, right? So you're better off, in my opinion, you're way better off really trying to imagine the future you want. A pain-free one, a symptom-free one where you laugh and smile more, one where you treat yourself better. And look, maybe the people around us will change, maybe they won't change. At the end of the day, the only thing you can control is how you treat yourself, how you envision yourself in the future. And so I will implore you with all of my heart to treat yourself well today and to envision a better future tomorrow and a year from now and 5 years from now, right? Because I can guarantee you, if you spend your days and life imagining a horrible, pain-filled, dismal, emotionally painful future, you're going to feel like crap right now. And that's the only thing we have, is right now, in the present. So get a grip of these visualizations that you're already doing. You're just doing them and working against yourself. And start to shift. And if you don't know what you want your life to look like, spend some time visualizing. What would life look like if, all or at least most of my perceived problems were gone, right? Because TMS, this mind-body pain, these mind-body symptoms, when you really get down to it, they're perceived problems. I'm not saying they're not real, but the perception is that I had a bad back for 13 years, even though I knew about Sarno and TMS. But my brain perceived that I had a bad back. My brain perceived it as a big problem. Now when I think about it, I don't worry about it. So look, how you feel right now in this moment is definitely a factor of how you see yourself in the future. And if you feel like crap right now, do a gut check and ask yourself, how do I see myself in the future? How do I see my life? How do I see my pain or symptoms? And if you're visualizing yourself not doing well, emotionally or physically, in the future, or even socially, or relationship-wise, you're really giving up your present joy to virtually create a future that you don't want. So I'm going to ask you to check yourself on that. And if you don't know what future you do want, create it, brainstorm it, journal. If my life was perfect, what would it be like today, tomorrow? What would I do if I didn't have to worry about fixing myself? How would I show up in the world? Now that is worth spending some mental energy on. So visualize a life that you want. Visualize a future that you can fall in love with. And spend more and more time doing that. And the more time you spend doing that, the more likely it is that things are going to move in that direction. Because I can guarantee you, if you spend your entire life thinking about all the stuff you don't want to have happen and that you fear and that it's almost like you're choosing to suffer now, which is why you feel bad now. It's almost like you're choosing to suffer now the things that aren't even happening and haven't happened yet. So look, with all my heart, I know this mind-body stuff, this TMS stuff is real. This stuff works, folks. It works very reliably when we can get out of the catastrophization and into the, positive visualization, when we can feel our emotions, when we can soothe our body, when we can calm our thinking. That's what this visualization is all about, is to calm the thinking, get out of the story of my life sucks and it always will, and start visualizing something better. Breathe. Notice the current stuff. All right? Learn to be more indifferent to your symptoms. Why? Because you know they're temporary. You know they're just TMS. And then shift your attention to living a life. And a lot of people say, how do I do that when I hurt so bad? Because it's important. And you don't have any other choice. Because I can guarantee you this, if you stare at your pain all day long, and you measure it and monitor it, and you're desperate to fix it, and you're working on getting rid of the pain all day long, it's probably going to stay. You got to step away from that. Get the core principles down. Know what TMS is. Accept that that's what's causing your symptoms. Feel your emotions. Soothe your body. Calm your thinking. Become more and more indifferent each day. And then shift your attention back to living life. It works remarkably well. And it's not terribly complicated. It's challenging, but not complicated. And you can do this. So if you can just kind of focus there and start visualizing this future that you want, you're going to get better a lot faster than you think. And before you know it, you're going to start realizing more and more positive days where you smile more, you laugh more. So, love you guys and gals. I'm going to wrap up. It's kind of chilly sitting out here, so we will see you tomorrow on Monday. Happy Sunday.